welcome to another episode of Dolls in Depth, the series where I describe each doll in my collection, how I got them, and their personality. In this week's episode, I'll be talking about Eve. So I got Eve in September 2021. Up until the point of Eve and subsequent dolls after her, I would literally just buy the first doll I saw on eBay for the cheapest price. I was very impulsive with my doll collection, which is probably why it grew so quickly in 2020 and 2021. And also, on top of that, none of the dolls I bought were super diverse and were majority light-skinned classic mold dolls. And on top of that, I'd also always wanted an Addie, or at least one with the Addie mold, because I really adored this mold. And this was especially after seeing a video by Alice in Dollland, where she unboxed an Addie. Around August of 2021, I had stumbled upon a story sale that Cup of Tea AG was doing, and one of the dolls was a custom Addie. I, of course, immediately wanted her. I had initially intended on buying the doll myself, like I did with all my other dolls. My parents ended up buying her for me as like an early Christmas present, and also under the promise that she would be the last doll. You could probably see where this goes, but I guess I was at least more intentional with my collection after Eve. So, that's something. So after ordering her, I literally sat in my Spanish class coming up with names for her. I originally wanted her to be named April because I did not have a doll with an A name in my collection. Then I thought of Brooke, which didn't really sound right either. And then eventually I settled on Eve. Ironically enough, I thought this name was like so fitting because I thought because she would be the last doll, she would always be the newest one in my main doll family and therefore always the youngest doll. And Eve kind of means newness and life in Hebrew. So I thought it was very fitting. So when receiving her, it was a really fun day. Of course, my parents greeted me with the long box that sat on our front porch. And pleasantly enough, like she was like boxed in a Trinity 58 box, which unfortunately I do not have anymore. I gave the box to somebody else. So one fun fact about Eve is that when she was first introduced, she actually used to have thicker eyebrows and freckles. Like I said earlier, she's a custom doll, so she had like some painted on features. What I did not realize about those painted on features was that they come off very easily with water. I think the person who did it was like experimenting with like watercolor or something, because when I was doing her hair and sprayed a little bit of water on her cheek, a few of her freckles started to come off. And so I ended up deciding just to take the rest of the makeup off if a few freckles were just gonna rub off with water. Like, I get the whole thing is that you're not supposed to get your doll's faces wet, but like, if it comes off with water, it's probably likely gonna fade over time anyway, and I didn't want the makeup to look bad over time. So Eve used to have like face makeup, but she doesn't anymore. So another thing that's changed when she was first introduced was she originally did not have much of a personality other than being vaguely an artist. However, when she was further introduced into my collection, her personality would further develop and flourish a bit. In my videos, she is an introvert and best friends with Nellie. Her introversion and less spontaneous way of thinking makes her a great contrast to Nellie. She's often the voice of reason, there's friendship, and convinces Nellie not to be quite as impulsive. She's overall very sweet and enjoys meeting new people, even if she does enjoy to be alone sometimes. In contrast to her siblings, she is the calmer one of the bunch, making her one of the few that Michelle does not get a migraine over, and Michelle appreciates that. She overall enjoys all things artistic and creative. She usually does art commissions for other people, and she especially enjoys drawing, painting, and coloring, and also making various OCs. One of the activities she and Eloise will bond with is through making characters and then building worlds for those characters. And unfortunately, now that Eloise is not in the main doll family anymore, she does still try and find time with Eloise, though it is of course a little harder. She's overall a little bit more quiet compared to the other siblings, though not quite as quiet as Charlie. I do hope to incorporate more in videos because I do feel like I tend to gravitate more towards like 7 of my dolls, and then dolls like Eve, Nellie, Lonnie, and Aspen tend to get a bit more ignored. So hopefully I can add her more in future stop motions. and flesh out her personality even more. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and comment below which doll you want to see psychoanalyzed next. Yeah, have a great day. Bye.